I've been designing kitchens in SketchUp for over 5 years, and in this video I'm going to show you how to go from complete scratch to a full kitchen in SketchUp. Whether you're a complete beginner, homeowner, kitchen designer, or carpenter, this video is for you. I've just opened my SketchUp window right here, and I'm going to show you some of the basics before we actually go right into the kitchen. So first of all, in terms of navigating around, you can basically just use the scroll wheel because obviously a 3-button mouse is a lot faster. So in terms of navigating around, we're going to use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And then we're going to hold down the scroll wheel, so like a click, and then we can move this around to orbit. And then if you actually use the shift key, we can pan, which basically doesn't change the angle which you're viewing. It just kind of moves the camera parallel to the angle that has already been set. So this is kind of what you need to know. Scroll in, scroll out, and then rotate or orbit around with a scroll wheel. Now over here we have the main tools that we will need. We'll mostly be working with shapes here with the rectangle, push, pull, offset, move tool, etc. In the beginning, I'm going to show you where we are going to click them, and then we'll move over to using shortcuts in order to do everything a lot faster. So by the way, in this video, I'm going to use the metric system. I'm going to work with centimeters. But if you use inches or feet or whatever, you can follow along because the whole process is very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose a rectangular tool. I'm going to click once on the origin or the starting point, and then we're going to stretch this outward. And in terms of dimensions, I'm going to go for something 720 by 720 centimeters. So basically I'm just typing that in, and as you can see in the bottom right corner, that is being displayed. And once we press enter, we'll have a 7.2 meter by 7.2 meter space. What we will do next is that I'm going to go ahead and use the push pull tool right here, which has the shortcut of the letter P, and we are going to drag this down for 30 centimeters. And now we have our flooring. So let's just make this a group. Now, in order to keep everything a lot more organized, we're going to use tags. So here at tags, we'll just type in floor. Let's do walls. We can do lower cabinets, or base cabinets is the right word, upper cabinets, and we're going to add them as we need them along. And now we're going to select the floor, and we're just going to move it to the floor tag. So that now when we have a lot more stuff going on, we can keep them more organized by basically just turning off this layer or on, or whatever type of layer, however we need it. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and draw another rectangle while using the R key shortcut right on top of this. Then we will use the offset tool, which is the one right here, to do the walls. So we'll click first on the edge, and then we type in 30 centimeters for the actual width of the wall. And we'll push pull this upwards for about 280 centimeters. And now we have all of the outside walls. So what we will do is we will delete this extra rectangle that was created, and we will triple click on any surface to select the whole walls that we created. So everything outside of the group of the flooring will be selected. We will right click, we'll click make group. And then while we have the group selected, we'll go to tag and move it to the walls tag. So now that we have this kind of skeleton of the room in terms of main dimensions, wall and flooring, what we will do is I will go ahead, right click over here, and we will open the large tool set. Not that we'll use all of these, and I know these are a bit overwhelming, but I want to show you the tape measure tool, which we can also activate by pressing the letter T as a shortcut. And now we will use this to guide our the kitchen design process. So this will create guidelines for us, and we'll start with 60 centimeters in terms of the base cabinet width. And then in terms of height, these will be 90 centimeters overall. And then basically we will have an island which will come over here, and the distance between the base cabinets and the island will be 120 centimeters. And we will give the island another 120 centimeters in terms of depth. Over here we will have a fridge. The fridge will be 120 centimeters. This will be full height, so we do not need to worry about the two lines intercepting yet. Then over here we'll have a tall cabinet with a built-in oven. This one will be only 60 centimeters. And then we'll have one base cabinet here, another one over here, another one over here. But I think this one should be the final one, which is a tall cabinet which can serve, or we can have a pantry here. And we'll see how that will play out. Then in terms of the distance from the base cabinets to the upper cabinets, we will do about 60 centimeters. And now we have things a bit more organized for us. And then the island will be basically from this cabinet up to here in terms of width. So there's enough room to move around, and this probably even extends over here to another room, but we're just working on the kitchen for now. Okay, so now we do have some guidelines. We have an idea of what will be where. I think I will start by laying out the island just because it's a lot simpler. So the island will be a waterfall island, but first of all, we will make this 90 centimeters height, just a simple box. Then what we will do is that we'll go ahead, we'll use the offset tool by pressing the F key. We will do about 10 centimeter offset. Let's use the line tool to close this off from here. And now we can delete this line. And once we delete this line, these two surfaces will be separated. And we can select this one and push it inwards for about 40 centimeters in order to have enough clearance for a legroom. And now we kind of have a base structure of the waterfall island. And then over on this side, we will just use the move key right here with activating it with the M shortcut. We can use the control key as well to duplicate it over here. And then this part, we can just push it inwards a lot less for about 5 centimeters just for the cabinet. So there's just a bit of inset there. And now we can triple click on any surface. We can click make group, and we will just leave it like this for now in terms of the island. We'll go downwards at the tags and we'll name this the island tag. Let's go to tag and let's move this to island. So let's get started with the base cabinets over here. I will start with the ones over here. So we'll just draw a rectangle first, and then we will pull this upwards to the right height. Then what we will do is we will draw the actual toe kick, and we will make this 10 by 90, and we can push this inwards for about 4 centimeters. And we can make this a group for now, which is just the box. And then we will add some drawers. So for the drawers, what we will do is that I will add a little bit of an inset, just a little bit. That way there is a gap between the next drawer that will be here, and it's gonna be a lot easier to manipulate. And by the way, in the meantime, what we can do is we can just right click and make this a component, and we can just say drawers. We'll click create, and then if we move this over here and move this over here, now every single edit that we'll make on this one will be affected on all three of them, so that we don't have to recreate them or even copy them later. So what I will do is that I will leave 2 drawers on half of this, and then the other half will just be a deeper drawer. Let's just draw this first. Let's go about 0.5 centimeters downwards. We'll push this outward for about 1 centimeter. Okay, so then we'll go for the 2 other drawers, which we will go ahead. We'll leave about 1 centimeter clearance on this drawer as well. So let's do 1 centimeter over here. We have the 1 centimeter clearance over there. And then what we will need is just another 1 centimeter gap between the 2 drawers over here. And we'll move this about 0.5 downwards. All right, then let's just select this. Let's pull this outward. Let's pull this outward. And now we have 3 identical cabinets with drawers right here. Okay, so now we can go ahead and use the 3D warehouse, which is, at least in my knowledge, the biggest library of 3D models out there. And we'll go ahead and type in for kitchen hardware. So we will rotate it the right side. And what I will do is I will actually do Control X, which will cut it, but it will also copy it at the same time. And when we go inside the group and we will place it, you will see that it will be placed in all of them. Let's now just make sure that this is being placed at the center. So this should be placed right there. Let's increase this in size a bit by holding the Control key to something like this. And now we can go inside the group. We will just copy these upwards to all of them. So I will quickly just draw a quick gap between the actual cabinets over here too, which can be something like 0.5 centimeters, and we can just push this in for another 0.5 centimeters. So then what I will do is that I will just copy this over here because it's the same exact size. But I will right click, I will go to make unique, so this is not a component anymore. And we'll go inside. I will delete this hardware here. Let's divide this in half. And then now we can copy this line for 0.5 centimeters on one side and another 0.5 on this side. We will delete the middle line completely. And then we can just pull this outwards for about 1 centimeter. can push pull this outwards for another 1 centimeter. And now we can actually just copy the hardware once again. We can go inside the group. We can just rotate this and make it a lot smaller. So let's push this a bit upwards and a little bit to the left. And now we have this part of a cabinet here, and these other ones are going to be taller cabinets. So this will be the one with the actual oven. So I will go ahead and I will type in oven. Let's just place the oven first, and then we'll actually build the cabinet around it. So first off, we will need the toe kick to be right around here. Let's just group this. Then we'll go inside the group. We will use this division as part of the cabinet here. And then let's just draw a line. Let's push pull this here. We will go inside the group once again. We'll push pull this all the way to the back. So then we have these on both sides. Let's draw one for the base here too. Let's do 1 centimeter upwards. Let's actually draw a gap right here too. So this will look a lot better with a gap once we have that rendered out. And then over here, we'll draw the actual door of the cabinets. Let's just push this a bit downwards. We'll just kind of mask this in to look like there's something behind there. And by the way, if you're not going to need to see the cabinets open and how they look like in terms of the 3D model, I highly advise to just draw them as a box with doors like I'm doing right now, because all of the extra geometry will just take way too much time to model, and also it will be heavy in your computer and the file might slow down in terms of performance. So then we'll copy this. Let's go inside here too, do something like this. Then we'll have this cabinet door right about here. We'll just move the handle downwards. What I'll do is that I'll actually build a block here in the back. I will copy this door once again right on top of it. I'll just make sure that we have a 1 centimeter gap right here. And I'll pull this downwards. Let's just delete the hardware. I will go ahead, I will copy this handle right here. I will go inside this group and place it right there too. So this will be one of those that will open this way because it's so much higher. And I think this is kind of the way that this should work. The next up, we will search for a fridge here in the 3D warehouse. So I will type in fridge. Let's just use this one. So then I will go here. Let me draw a gap between these two. I'll push this inwards for 0.5 centimeters. I will draw another rectangle to right about here. Let's create this as a door. We will push this downwards too. We will also just create an illusion of a box here so that, you know, it looks like there's something inside, because otherwise it will be transparent and we do not need that. So this will be one cabinet, and over here I'm planning to do like a taller door here which can have multiple kind of divisions inside, which, by the way, we do not need to be seen here because we're not going to have the drawers opened in the 3D model. So that will take a lot of time and make our model heavier. And I highly advise you to, not draw the insides of the cabinets if you don't need to see them, basically. So then let's just pull this all the way up. We'll close this in, and now we'll just push this downwards for 1 centimeter as well. Okay, so now let's just copy this. All right, so now let's go to the 3D warehouse and I will type in fridge. I'll go ahead and download this as a SketchUp model. I will go ahead and then rotate this as well. I will push this inwards to right about here, and then just make the legs right there to the floor. So let's just push this part out as well. So over here, we can just have some sort of filler, in the sense that this can be something like this, and then we can have the upper cabinets right here. So then we will inset this for about 1 centimeter. Let's push this outward. We're going to draw a line right down the middle. We're going to copy this for 0.5 centimeters this way, and then another centimeter this way. And then let's just push this inwards for another centimeter. All right, so let's just copy this handle. We'll put one of them right here. And then let's just copy the other one right here. Let's just group this. And now we kind of have this side done. So one thing that I'm noticing is that definitely these handles, I will change them with something a bit more simpler and more round. And then next up here, we will just go ahead and do a quick modeling of a pantry, which will go all the way up here. we're gonna go ahead and draw the toe kick of this just like with other ones. And then let's just push this inwards. Then we'll offset this in for about 1 centimeter. We will divide this in half. So we will draw this, and then let's just quickly create a gap of 0.5 centimeters this way, and then another centimeter that way. We'll do the same thing for the upper doors here. I'll remove this completely. Let's push this out first for 1 centimeter, and then we can push pull this and just double click on the surface because it remembers the last one that was used. And now what I can do is I can actually get this handle. We will rotate it just by simply hovering on top of this and then moving it forward. We'll kind of aim for the same height as the fridge doors. So something like this. They should have a similar distance from the gap as well. We'll do the same thing for this part over here. And then for this part over here and these other two ones, I'm going to replace them with some sort of round handle. So yeah, I think something like this is exactly what I'm looking for, even though the material is not what I'm aiming. It's something that we're going to take care of in a later stage. So let me just rotate it to something like this, and I'll go inside, remove this, and let's just place this correctly. Now we will copy this as well. Let's remove this. We'll place it in the exact same spots that we have the previous hardware. And then now what we'll need is that we'll just draw the countertop to something like this. We can leave it 2.5 centimeters in terms of width. And this can go for about 2 centimeters beyond the cabinets. Let's just make this a group, and then we can also allow the countertop to be a group in itself. Okay, so for this part, what we will do is that we'll have another division between these. These will be closed cabinets, and then we'll have some sort of open shelving here. I'll push this outward for about 45 centimeters, and then we will create a division right here. Or actually, let's just do an offset of 1 centimeter first. We'll push this outward for 1 centimeter, and then let's just divide this in half. We'll move this about 0.5 on this side, and let's do another one on this side. Let's push this inwards right here. I'll make this a group, and then what we can do quite easily is, in fact, this will become a component, so we can do upper cabinets. Let's copy this over on this side, and very quickly I'll just do another shape right here, and then I'll push this inwards for 0.5. Okay, so now we can have an open shelving similar to this. So this can be 5 centimeters, and then what we will do is let's just have this one should have a bit more space, and then these two we can kind of leave it in right about there. Okay, so in terms of structure, we're almost there, I would say. What I would quickly do is just remove all of these, and in fact we can make the countertop a bit. So right here in this wall, I think we'll just place this sliding window. This will start from here to right about here. We will push pull this inward, and we will kind of allow it to be similar like this, to have a bit of lighting for when we actually want to create a render out of this as well. And then now we can go ahead and add some chairs right here. So island tools. So I think I'll just download all of these and pick the one that I think would fit best. Even though we will tweak all the materials later on, right now we're just looking in terms of like shape. So I think, yeah, these are pretty similar. I think we'll go for something like this, which is a bit more bulky, I would say. So let's just remove, oh, not that one. So let's just remove these ones. Let's select this. We will place this right here. Let's rotate it to something like this. And by the way, you can see that I'm kind of rotating them just to give them a bit more of a natural look. And I think these will definitely need a bit more space between them, right? So we're not leaving all of them at a 90 degrees angle, just to kind of give them a bit more natural place kind of look. And then next up, I will go over here. I will look for a sink. We can choose any of these. I think I'm just gonna choose this one, and we're gonna place this on the sink right here. We're gonna place this on the island right here. Usually I don't recommend placing sinks on the island just because of the inevitable splashes that will happen. But if the island is large enough to kind of have some distance between the seating area and the sink, then I think it's fine. So then let's just draw a rectangle from here to the other corner, and we can just pull this downwards. So we are going to search for a cooktop here. We're going to go for this one. So let's rotate it in the right orientation, and we will just place it over on this side. Now this drawer is not going to be used anyway. So we're going to go right here. Let's just draw a rectangle on the countertop. Let's pull this downwards, and now we have a cooktop as well. So let's just look for some kitchen accessories, stuff that will make the place look a bit more lively if the goal of this is a final picture. So we'll do kitchen accessories, and let's just choose these ones. So we're going to spread them around the kitchen to kind of make the whole thing look a bit more natural. So these are just way too big, so let's just do something like this. So next up, we'll just create some sort of enclosed area in the ceiling. I'm gonna get a bit on a good angle. I'm gonna get on the inside. I'm gonna press the Z key to activate the zoom tool. And if you actually use the zoom tool and hold the shift key and move the mouse downwards, we increase the field of view. That way we can kind of have everything in one view here. And then what we can do is, actually let's just decrease a little bit. Let's move a bit backwards. We will scroll downwards to scenes. We'll just click the plus icon here. And now anytime we move around or have to kind of get another view in, like something like this, and want to go back to that, we can just click scene 1. And now we will have our SketchUp view here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and search for island pendant lighting. And I mean, we can use any of these. I think I'm just going to go with this one. I'm just going to download it, and I will probably need to tweak the height of it because it's just way too low, but I think something like this, if we also rotate it, should work fine. Let's just place it in the right way. Okay, so we go back to scene 1. One thing that definitely helps is that if you use the circle tool right here, we can increase this in size. We'll push this downwards, so it kind of has a way that it connects to the ceiling, otherwise it looks way too fake. So we will go at the materials. We're just going to choose inbuilt ones, and if there's anything that we need but don't find, I'm going to show you exactly where to actually look for it and how to import it. But first off, we actually select the wood material here, and we go and double click inside or triple click inside this cabinet. We just press the B key to activate the paint bucket tool. We click once, and now we have them. And then, for example, we can modify this, where we click on the surface, we click on texture, position, and then we can just rotate it for 90 degrees. We will use the eyedropper tool for this, and we'll click once. And then we can also go ahead and kind of tweak the actual diffuse color of the shelves. Now we'll do the same material for the open shelving too. Then for the rest of the cabinets, we can go over here, we can just choose a color. And I'm just going to apply this green first, and it looks absolutely awful as of now. But what we will do is that in just a second, I'm going to modify this to look like a very, very light olive color. So I'll go over here, and let's just lower the saturation and increase the actual brightness. I think we're going to go for something like this. And then in terms of the hardware, I'm just going to select this, and we're going to leave the colors similar to what we have now. I don't think we're going to do much changes in terms of that. Then what we will do is that we'll also add a backsplash actually here. So what we need to add the backsplash is just a separate rectangle. We'll push this inwards for about 0.5 centimeters. And then we're going to use the same stone for the countertop as for the backsplash. So we'll just do something like this. Then the same marble we're going to use for this part of the island, and we will apply the wood, same wood here underneath the island. So for example, now in terms of the flooring, I want a more specific kind of wooden floor. So what I can do is I can just type in wood, and then we can scroll in inkandcg.com and find many free actual textures that we can import into SketchUp very easily. So I'm just going to scroll downwards and try to find something that I want. In this instance, I will just choose this one. and we'll just use the 2K texture resolution. And now what I will do is I will just apply any kind of texture in the flooring. I'll select it while I will first click the B key, then hold the Alt key to use the eyedropper tool. Then right here, I will actually replace it with the wooden flooring that we downloaded. We're going to use the color texture, and now we have the same exact wooden flooring. What I will do with this is that I will just go to texture, and I will actually rotate this for about 90 degrees. I will increase the size of this to 300, and we'll leave it to something like this, and we'll go back to the view that we had set up earlier. So I will tweak the field of view a bit, and then I will right click here, and I will click update. And this is kind of how we went from having an idea or a space to a full kitchen 3D modeling. Obviously, there's a lot more details that we can do, like adding, for example, skirting on the ground, or even more kind of leveled ceilings or anything like that. But this is just a basic idea, a crash course of how you can actually do 3D models of kitchens inside SketchUp. And by the way, even with this, you can just go ahead and just take a screenshot. I can go ahead and use Nano Banana. I will just attach the actual screenshot, and I will type in create a realistic kitchen render in a home in Michigan. Spring day outside, the window takes you to the back garden, whatever. I will click send, and we're going to see how AI turns actually this screenshot of SketchUp into a realistic render in a few seconds right here inside Gemini.google.app. Make sure to click the create image tag, and usually the output takes about 10 seconds to actually render out. Let's see how fast it actually does for us this time. And we are here, and overall it's actually looking quite nice, to be honest. The only change which has occurred is a number of chairs. The overall structure of the kitchen is there. The pendant lighting has changed. I like the addition of the garden there, but honestly, it has added even accessories and everything, so this looks quite good. And I think this is one of the fastest way to go from an idea of the kitchen to a realistic render, which shows you how it will actually look in real life. So if you enjoyed this video and the 3D modeling, the next step is to actually see how you can do a 3D rendering of the kitchen, and you can learn that by watching the video right here.